Okay, and welcome, ladies, to the Girl Boss Method. So, for tonight's Monday night call, we're going to go through an introduction to the program and also just setting a few expectations as well. I think, especially because it is January and there's so many of you ladies that have joined brand new to the program, I thought it would be really good to go over some housekeeping and then just talk to you a little bit of how things are going to go over, the next few weeks as well. So, firstly, we're going to go through some expectations and then also outline how the check-ins and the progress tracking will work as well. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about some approaches to nutrition and also why effort and consistency are key. And then also talk about the key resources again within the welcome guide and resource collection. Okay, so welcome to the program. Welcome to the Girl Boss Method. So, for some of you, you might be brand new to this, you're starting fresh. And for some of you, we've had Christmas, New Year's, we've had a big old busy month of December, the festive period. And so first Monday of the year is always like a restart or a refresh and new beginning and a good time to start, something new with new and better intentions as well. So, for those of you that watched last week, Thursday's call, go back and watch that if you haven't done. But we kind of went through a bit of sort of mindset and goal setting for the year as well, and just to kind of reflect really on last year as well. So, again, if you have done that, think about today, or think about this period now, and in terms of reflecting on your why. So, why are you here? And what do you want to achieve? And so I think with that, it's important to note that success comes from taking ownership, showing up, and trusting the process. So when it comes to setting the tone, I've got to do that, and I've got to be good cop and bad cop. A lot of you have seen my good cop, but my good cop is there a lot of the time, and I'll only really do bad cop if it needs to happen. But good cop, I'd say yes, compassionate and supportive. I get that life is busy, and as a result, it's my job and for us working together also to try and adapt as needed, right? We need to have plan A, but we also need to have plan B as well. And again, you're going to have things come into your diaries where you've got trips, work trips, you've got to travel for something, things have happened at home, whatever it is. We're a team and you have me here to guide you every step of the way. And we've got the wonderful WhatsApp group as well, the girls in there. Some of the girls have been on the program for a long time. And so if I can't jump in and say something straight away, I know that the girls will step in and help you and guide you to the right area as well, as and when. And when it comes to being bad cop, this doesn't really happen, but it's just to kind of say that bad cop in a sort of a softer tone as well, that it's just to kind of reiterate that results, they do require effort and you can't half commit and expect change. So if you've got one foot here and you're like, I'm in this program and I'm doing some of the stuff, but I'm going to go away and just sort of make things up as I go along or not really take on board the things that I'm telling you to do or teaching you or giving you to do, you're not going to expect, you're not going to get change basically. And again, some of these things, comfort zones don't lead to transformation. So you do have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable within reason. I don't want anyone kind of feeling like all of a sudden this is some crazy program where it's like, 110 effort constantly. Life is not like that. So I think it's just to kind of understand that you do have to have, you've got to be all in and you do have to, again, commit to the processes, things are going to be slightly uncomfortable, and it's not to say that it's going to be horrible and awful. It's going to be a great process, but it's going to be realistic and sustainable as well. So just to kind of reiterate that again, when we've had our conversations when joining this program, I'm not all about trying to push you so hard and fast that you just, you give up, it leads to burnout and you become unhappy. I want you to be happy throughout this process. That's the main thing for me. I've been on the other end and it's not great. So it's just all about creating balance here. So when it comes to our check-ins, our workouts, and our nutrition, we need to approach them seriously. This is your journey. I'm with you on this journey, but it's your journey. So it is important that you take some form of ownership. And again, if I'm going to put in 100% effort, I want to see 100% back. So it's matched energy in that respect. And it's not to say that, again, coming back to good cop and coming back to compassion and support, that I am there to understand and to be along with you in this journey, and again to adapt where needed. So yes, expectations of the program. Communication is really important. So yes, you're busy, that's fine. We've got a check-in process. I am talking about this quite a lot today because you will be doing your first check-ins this week, which might feel a bit soon or a bit fast. But again, just take your time with it. I'll talk to you about that process in just a moment. But, ideally, check-ins on time. So Thursday, Friday, they'll open up on your schedule, on your diaries for Thursday, and they'll be available Friday as well. There is some room and some flexibility that, again, if you've been traveling with work, things have been hectic, I'm not going to kill you. Saturday morning is absolutely fine. That's okay. As long as it's not like in the middle of Sunday afternoon and then you're expecting a reply, it's not going to happen. Again, I'll reply to you Monday in that case. But ideally, try and get them in on time and be honest. Be honest about the struggles that you're facing. Be honest about the challenges you're experiencing. Be honest about how your program is, how it's aligning with you as well. The workouts need to be suitable for you individually, and they also, again, the nutrition as well in that respect, it needs to be appropriate for you as well at the level that we're working at. And just remember, effort over perfection. There are going to be ups and downs on this journey, but the goal is always about consistency. So consistent progress and not perfection. And in terms of the accountability, that yes, this program works if you work with it. So just commit to doing your best, even on tough days. It might not be 100%, but it's going to be you taking some form of action and accountability for how you show up there. And just remember that I'm here to guide and to tweak your program, but I also need your input too. So this is what's really important about the check-in as well. And obviously you've got that daily accountability from me. I'm going to be keeping an eye on you each day. So you will have seen or accessed the welcome guide. You would have seen some access also to the resource collection as well. I haven't talked about it a lot here, but there is also another resource or collection. There's a workout collection as well. And the workout collection is a little bit like dragging and dropping extra things into your diary. So obviously you will be given specific workouts that will be inputted into your diary, but there might be from time to time times where you have the ability to actually do a little bit more, or maybe we need to do a swap out, or maybe we need to go and access something else because maybe it's, again, certain times of the month for you, certain stresses at work, time availability as well. Maybe you might need to kind of go in and access like a mobility workout or something. So there is the option to kind of work that in as well and add it into your diary. There's also a technical support area. This folder, I've done loads of screen recordings. Again, just a couple of different guides within there as well, just so that you can kind of see how things work when you sort of mapping out the app and stuff. I'm really happy with the app. All the girls that have been on the program absolutely love the app as well. So I don't know, again, if you've logged any workouts today, you would have seen some really exciting things pop up at the end there. So again, your go-to resources, you've got nutrition tips in there. There's recipes, there's meal ideas, and of course, you've also got, so yes, we use MyFitnessPal to log data. MyFitnessPal is the best logging app out there in the universe. It's as old as or I've used it as long as my eldest nephew, who's now 19. So it's been going for years. It's so good. The database is very large. The database can also be incorrect, but we'll have a look at some of those things as well through, again, more trainings and stuff. But when you are going through the resource collection, you've got access back to loads of videos, really old stuff about training, recovery, and mindset. You might even find some surprises on there because, yes, we're female focused now, but at one point, I used to coach men. But you know that we've moved on into a new era and it's all female focused. So you might see some guys in there on some of the old videos, which again, always really value some of those topics as well. Aside from that, I'm always adding to the resource collection, always updating it. These calls will always be in the resource collection for you to kind of go back and reference as well. You might see over the next, again, over time as well, some of the names of the folders might change. Again, we've got back end of 2024 stuff in there, some other folders with other various different names. December's clear in there, and then January I'll be updating as we go along this month, all the stuff that we go. And then what I hope to do is actually just filter them over into the specific headed collection for you guys to go back and access. But yes, again, within from time to time, it might pop up in your check-in. But again, please come back to me, whether you ask in the group or you send a message to me directly. If there is a topic that you would like more information on, let me know and I'll try my best to create it for you, to create it for all of us, to present it on one of these calls as well. And yeah, you can always refer back to these resources whenever you like. So again, I don't know how much time you've had to explore things in app. Again, with some of you being very, very new, literally like days old new, just need to double check after this call if I've given you full access to everything, which I think I have. But again, everything is built out for each individual. So when you join, it doesn't come up straight away. Okay, moving on. So coming on to check-ins and how they work. So firstly, check-ins do matter because we could kind of dig around, do a program, do a, workout, whatever, and you could kind of stab away at it. And there's never really a chance or an opportunity to kind of really like stop and pause. And so that's why the check-ins really matter. And they're a big part of this program. It's a chance for you to reflect on your wins, your challenges, and any adjustments that might be needed as well. And again, I'm always using your feedback to sort of continuously change, again, tailor your program and your overall experience as well. But the check-ins are, they're really valuable anyway. I think they're brilliant. I do try my best to try and keep them interesting. Try and keep them interesting and give you variety in them as well. So again, they won't become this monotonous thing that you just say, oh my God, this is exactly the same as what I answered last week. Always try and challenge you in different ways as well and get you thinking. So some of the things that we might include, some sort of, again, you might look at these and go, oh, these are, pretty standard. But yes, what happened this week? What did you struggle with? Again, some feedback or information about your nutrition as well. Are you hitting your targets? Are you following the plan? How's that all going for you? Again, with the workouts, what felt good? what didn't. And so again, within this, I'd always say that right now, especially at the beginning of a program, even when resetting as well, you know, it's about kind of testing, right? You do have to test. And if we think about science as well, we don't just say, here's science, go and do it. It's actually testing and understanding and feedbacking and feeling, really kind of trying to pinpoint some of that stuff. So it'd be really good, again, as you start working through things to, again, let's feedback with each other. Let's create this, this is a cohesive journey between us as well. And then, yeah, again, thinking about lifestyle factors. How's your sleep? How's your stress? How's your energy? And how are these gonna, how can we, what tools or what things can we do? What can we access to try and help manage these things a little bit better? And yeah, take 5 to 10 minutes again, reflecting before you submit. And then just coming on to this part here. And this part always feels like a scary part, if I'm honest. I know for again, this is the elephant in the room, and you kind of go, oh my God, I've got to really expose myself here. I've got to like put the data in. I've got to see this stuff. I have to submit this information. This stuff is between you and I, and it's not sent out anywhere weird and wild on the web at all. This is between us. And again, this is part of the sort of metric aspect or photo aspect of the check-in. So yes, you've got this wonderful reflective, self-reflective process, but it's also important to understand that progress pictures and metrics, yes, they do matter. So again, the scale's not always going to show everything, and you might not see changes week on week, but it's about zooming out. And, in that zooming out, when we are looking at the weeks and months, we're seeing things like the changes in the muscle definition and, again, areas of fat loss. And these are going to be indicators of success, right? Again, could even just be your shape is changing, maybe seeing a little bit more tone, and maybe even your posture as well with the way that you stand. Has that come from working on muscles? Has that come from building a newfound confidence? And then when it comes to measurements, tape measurements to track things again that the scales might miss. So we are thinking about things like, your waist, your hips, your arms, and ideally record these measurements at the same time of day for accuracy. I know it's not always possible, but in terms of doing the check-in process, again, if you've got, Thursday, Friday to kind of spill over and do that, I would always say stand on the scales first, record that number, leave it in your notes somewhere. And then throughout the day or later on the day, maybe even the evening, that's when you can kind of go, right, those are the measurements. Okay, done. Pictures are done. Okay, now I'm going to do my reflective form. It doesn't all have to be at once. It can be done in bits and pieces over the course of those days. So again, when we're looking at scale weight, it is a guide. I did actually take my tape measure out, but something like this is really cool and handy if you don't have one. If you don't have one, please let me know, and I can send you a link to grab one as well. So scale weight fluctuates with things like water, your food intake, hormones. Again, it's all only one piece of the puzzle. Whether or not you've been to the toilet, whether you've had a sip of water. And I know that some of you might go to gyms where you have access to very interesting biometrical data on all sorts of things. You stand on these scales and you see various different figures on different metrics and muscle mass on body fat and stuff. The thing that you have to realize is a lot of the time you're going to be standing there with your clothes on. Secondly, you are also going to be using that information at different times of the day, or maybe again, thinking about that as well. That's really important to think about. And yeah, I think just coming back to sort of again some of the basics. This stuff can be things that you do maybe over time. You could do it every now and then. But really just sticking to these sort of like basics here, these are the things that we can like all easily access as well. So again, yeah, just coming back to it, metrics show, they help show the full picture of your progress beyond the weight. Okay. And again, it's really important that we do celebrate those non-scale victories like increased strength, increased energy, increased our confidence. And these are things that, again, that we can put in our self-reflection or our self-reflective process. And again, when it comes to the strength, when you are logging your workouts, I can see all your reps, your sets, your weight. It also pulls up some really cool graphs for me as well. So if we're being consistent, again, with training, we can start to see, peaks as well in how you are progressing. So again, we can talk about those sorts of things, training specific as the time goes on as well. And I can refer you again to other trainings we've done previously around that. So yeah, you've joined the program or you're restarting, you're resetting. And again, there are various different routes to success. And again, you may have tried various different diet types, maybe some different protocols that are sort of fad or popular. Everything that you do that works, firstly, always comes down to a shift in energy balance. That's like the baseline and the basics of it. However, what we know is that when we're approaching that, it's not always as easy as you think, because you do have to learn a few things, and you have to be, again, specific, and you have to think about things, and you have to think about things in a bit more detail, being a bit more balanced in that respect. And sometimes when you are going for a specific diet, you don't have to think. The thinking's taken out for you, and it's, keto or whatever, or it's windowed eating, it's the intermittent fasting windowed eating, and you go, well, I'll just eat between these hours. Whatever it is, whatever that thing is that you've tried, or that's prescribed or what have you, is creating a shift in energy balance. But I will always say that it's really important that we look at data, and almost like data over the drama, as it were. And at the top of the list, I would say that sort of calorie and macro tracking, the MyFitnessPal stuff, is the best. It's the most precise and effective for fat loss, muscle building. Again, within this, the first level is sort of focusing on that protein. Then we can start to attack calories, and then we can start looking at the other macronutrients as well. So things like, managing the carbs and the fats as well, which is definitely a much more advanced protocol. Again, we can create some flexibility with meal templates as well. So again, having a look at the resource collection, there are ideas in there for you, again, to either, look at some of those ideas, create some sort of balanced meal plans, etc. And again, just confirm these with me, whatever it is that you want to do and how you want things structured. Let's share them and run through them together. And again, when we are thinking about meal plans and templates, these can be great for holidays or busy times, and again, help creating some structure. A lot of you would ideally at level 1 right now. Again, if the MyFitnessPal stuff is over your head and you're like, I really don't get this right now, we'll be looking at food diary logging. So this is a great tool to use before sort of learning about the sort of tracking methods. And it's a great way to create sort of some accountability and get some feedback from me in terms of swaps and references and that sort of thing, and suggestions, etc. These could also be used, a great tool to use when you are eating out, for example, and you're like, I have no idea what this meal had. I'm going to chuck a picture up, maybe add some descriptions, and again, maybe come back to me and I'll try and help you troubleshoot what that was and how to track it within MyFitnessPal. And again, another thing that would be really cool is, on a Sunday or a Saturday, whenever you decide to prep a few things throughout the week, just doing a little upload and putting that onto food diary logging and going, here are the meals, or here's the stuff. I've got the stuff accessed. It's there in the fridge. That's prepared. I'm ready to go. Again, it's another way of layering that sort of that accountability and that sort of communication with me as well. And again, whichever method we look at with you and what you choose and what you want to try, consistency is key. Whatever you're going to do, you've got to stick at it and do it for 30 days at least, just to know that it has actually worked. And if it hasn't, then that's obviously where we need to look at things again, move the needle again, have a look at that. Feedback is really important in that regard as well. So ever evolving. Okay, so again, with commitment and accountability, these two things are married together. Okay, I want your commitment and you want my accountability. So, again, just sort of a reminder, if you want something that you've never had, I'm sure you've seen this quote before, you must be willing to do something you've never done within reason. So yes, show up when it's hard. I'm kind of laying down the bad cop a little bit today. Ask for help if you're struggling. Really important that we celebrate those small wins. It all adds up. And you tell me as well, seeing all the never miss a Monday in the group, how motivating was it to see that? And again, as I say, at whatever level we're working at and whatever level that means to you right now, just ticking off the intention, just ticking off the thing to say, I never miss a Monday. Monday, I know Monday is as good as a Thursday or a Wednesday or what have you, but I think there's nothing like setting up the beginning of the week. It's the week that most people go back to work. It's the week that we kind of go, right, the weekend's done. I'm ready to kind of go. So I think that's a really, really good way of doing it. And my favorite one here would be talk kindly about yourself because words are spells. So the way that you talk to yourself, it does something, right? So if you talk positively about yourself, you're only going to see positive things. And again, again, you might see that maybe this is repeated loads online and, manifestation and stuff. But I think, again, there is some truth behind that. And I think the way that we talk to ourselves, it really does bring about feelings as well in terms of how we show up. Okay. So it's week one. Time, in terms of action, again, you're going to complete your first check-in this week. I'm not going to be hard and fast with this. Again, if it's just a reflective form this week, that's absolutely fine because I know that for some of you, you've only literally just done metrics and pictures. So it just all feels a bit too much, which is fine. If we need to skip that this week, absolutely fine. We'll go for that next week, but definitely do your form. I think that's massively important. It's always good to kind of stop and reflect as well. And again, sticking to your calories, your macros, or whatever strategy that we're currently working on together. If you are working on tracking, track the meals in advance. It helps. I've said this loads. Having things prepped and planned. So again, it's not to say that you've got 16 boxes full of, Tupperware lined up in the fridge, ready to go. Life doesn't operate like that. It might do if you're 20 something and live with mum and dad, and it's really easy to kind of just do that. But realistically, you've got families, you've got lives, you've got careers, partners, all sorts of things going on. You can't stack up the fridge like that. So just know that things are prepared and you go, right, these are my veggies that I'm going to attack over the next few days. Maybe you might chop things up and stick them in something. And again, just knowing what protein sources you've got and knowing what carbs as well that you have to hand. And I think really, yeah, just thinking, showing up this week for movement, for steps, for workouts, whatever it is, commit to move each day this week, even if it's just a little stretch, and commit to some phone free time before bed. Really important. It's so easy, and it's interesting because we did a little poll within the WhatsApp group couple of months or weeks back, and it was like, okay, what's your bedtime habit? And it was just insane the amount of scrolling. It's so easy to do. And again, scrolling on your phone is not going to help with helping reduce anxiety, helping you sort of, get into the right frame of mind, ready to actually settle down and switch off from the day. I think it's so important. And again, when we're thinking about phone free time, you might go, well, that's how I relax. Well, actually, maybe we need to look at different ways of relaxing, be it reading, be it coloring, be it doing a tidy up round the house, putting the dishwasher on before you go to bed, making sure that things are ready for you in the morning, all sorts of things that you can do for, bedtime, dental routine, making sure you floss. So again, yeah, journal. So what you could do tonight, again after this call, you could sort of reflect on one thing that you are doing differently this year to achieve your goals. And then just to kind of reiterate that this week is all about, again, or this period now, the beginning period, whether it's this week, the next few weeks, it's all about building foundations for success. So we're going to start strong by mastering the basics. For those of you that have been with me a while now, again, just getting back to those basics. This is all going to set the tone for your journey, okay? With structure, accountability, and consistency, we're laying the groundwork for those long-term results through clear goals, expectations, progress tracking, taking ownership and logging your nutrition and your workouts. And just to kind of again put it into focus here and bring it back in. Monday is going to be our sort of form of sort of presenting education. So this is either it's different topics, and then Thursday we'll look at doing some more troubleshooting as well. We can be flexible here and there around time, but ideally 6:30 Monday and Thursday. If things are happening in the diary, whether it's, absolutely no one can show up, then we'll have a look at how we can restructure and reframe things moving forward. But yes, success comes from mastering the basics and consistent effort, progress tracking, and a clear plan. I hope you have enjoyed that tonight, ladies. Thank you so much. And I'm going to press a stop now and